I think one of the biggest stigmas around mental health that we're trying to change is that people aren't crazy, and mental health is something that we all have.
You know, working in mental health for over 20 years, one of the things I do find is just, people want to say, I'm not crazy. And it's like, none of us are.
We really need to normalize conversations around taking care of yourself mentally.
Hi, my name is Shanti Das, and I'm the CEO and founder of Silence the Shame. And Silence the Shame is my 501c3 nonprofit. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I think it's important to add that my father died by suicide when I was just 7 months old. And fast forward, I had this really great career in the entertainment industry and went through a lot of my own emotional challenges. In 2014, my best friend took her own life. And then in 2015, I had heavy suicidal ideation and almost took my own life. And so that's really what prompted me to start Silence the Shame. It literally just started as a hashtag.
So I started with Silence the Shame in the very beginning. I actually met Shanti when she was a guest for a podcast for my old mentor, and she had mentioned wanting to start this movement around just helping to release the layers of stigma as it relates to mental health and mental illness, especially within communities of color. So after the podcast, I pulled her aside and I was like, hey, I love what you're doing. I have my own issues with mental health. That was the beginning of my involvement with Silence the Shame. I started as a volunteer. Literal blood, sweat, and tears went into the just inception of this organization. And it really did start as just Shanti wanting to just start this movement, and it blossomed into something so beautiful.
Our entire purpose is to create an inclusive and safe space to learn, to connect, to be empowered, and to even advocate. That's what I love about how we connect with our communities. It isn't this traditional setting that it happens at any given place, but it is an opportunity to find like-minded peers, to have moments of, I just need a hug, right? And sometimes it's just about expressing yourself and how much fun it can be without someone putting guardrails on what you can do and what you can say. And that's what our programs can do, especially for our young people, right?
So I'm the president of the Youth Advisory Council for Silence the Shame. Growing up, I really struggled with carrying everything myself and feeling like I needed to be independent. And so that really took a toll on my mental health. On through the years, I developed suicidal ideations and had a few attempts. I started to look for help in different places, found an environment of people who were my age and who were going through similar things. And it just kind of made me realize okay, I'm not the only one going through this. I don't have to be embarrassed about it because nobody talks about it. One of the things for me that's so big about being in the Youth Advisory Council is that you hear it coming straight from someone your age or just a little bit older. So it doesn't sound like a lecture. It doesn't sound like you're in trouble or you're shamed. It just sounds like a conversation between friends. It's so easy for people to get along when you have something to talk about, which the bottom line is mental health.
Silence the Shame is needed in the community because it really provides a service to marginalized communities. Communities that may not have the resources to be able to explore things when it comes to mental health and mental well-being.
When we think of how we're reaching people nowadays, especially young people, you have to have moments that I call culturally engaging by connecting to things that they like, and I say culturally, that's music, that's arts, that's all of the things that people get really excited about, and finding those connections with that mission of mental health. So when you can bring the worlds together, that's when you can have real impact a lot faster.
We have to talk about our mental health. If it wasn't for my mother also having her own struggles with mental illness, I'm not sure where I would be, because when I told my mom I didn't want to be here anymore, she took it seriously. She didn't tell me to go pray. She took me to a therapist, and I'm so grateful. And honestly, I know that my experience is not common, especially in Black communities. And because of that, I wanted to do everything I could to help this organization just grow and thrive.
We are living in some really uncertain times. And I think the most important thing right now in our lives is our health. Mental health is everything. It is the one thing that allows us to hashtag live our best lives. My final words would just always be for people to take time, save a life, and silence the shame.